If you've stumbled across this video, welcome. This is going to be a general collective reading. I've already pulled a few cards and I'm going to be pulling more throughout this video as needed. I am using the Deviant Moon Tarot for today's reading, as I wanted to tap into the Cancerian energy. The moon is the ruling planet for Cancer. So this feels like the perfect deck to play around with in this season. So just to start talking about the cards that have come out already. At the center of your reading, you've got the Seven of Wands. Sorry, I'm just trying to get that. So the Seven of Wands speaks about the feeling of being outnumbered in a situation. So I'm picking up on someone who feels like maybe they're in a really competitive position, or maybe they're in a field, whether this is in work. This could be the dating field for some of you as well, where you feel like the competition is just too high, and you're starting to feel like you're put on the spotlight for how you don't fit a particular role in a very competitive field, if that makes sense. I'm getting that this is an insecurity though. So this might not necessarily be the truth. As we know with the Seven of Wands, even though the figure on the card is outnumbered, they actually have the higher ground in the situation. So what this is speaking about is somebody, and I think this is your energy if you're watching this, somebody who doesn't realize that their biggest strength is the uniqueness that sets you apart from the crowd. Okay, so you being outnumbered in this situation is actually a super positive thing. It gives you a competitive edge, and I'm getting that you really aren't believing that about yourself. The blockage currently is the Six of Wands. So this sort of makes a lot of sense, right? Six of Wands is about recognition and success and achievement, and it's a very public card. So what I'm feeling is that for you, you're at a stage in your life where you're being asked to step up, maybe in a leadership position, or just moving on to a different phase in your life, and you've got a bit of an insecurity around being seen or around being noticed or putting yourself out there. So what I'm seeing is that you really fear criticism. This is coming out as sort of like maybe you are in a job you don't really love. Maybe it pays the bills and it's okay, but there's something nudging you towards a different direction. However, I feel you trying to sort of reconcile with staying in the current position because you don't want to, at this stage, go through potential rejection. This doesn't have to be like a job situation. Oh, my nose is going crazy, itchy. Intuition. Sorry about that. This doesn't have to be a job situation, but I'm getting strongly that it is. Put yourself out there. If you're currently in a position where you have a little bit of security with the job you're in, even if it's not ideal, this is saying just apply for things for the sake of getting used to being rejected. You never know where it might lead is what I'm getting. So in the hidden influences, I've got the Judgment card, and I was getting before like a really strong feeling of like a fear of judgment. I feel that you are being called to do something different. I feel like this is a bit of a career move is what I'm getting. I'm also hearing it could be a location change. So I'm hearing Byron Bay is a particular area that's coming through. So I don't know if you currently live there or you're thinking of moving there. Because what I'm getting is like an area where maybe, and I know this is the case for Byron Bay. I've actually never been in to the specific area myself, but I know that it used to be kind of like a casual coastal sort of seaside town, and it started because it's very beautiful up there, right? It started to attract a lot of people who wanted sort of a more laid back lifestyle, and it also has a lot of tourists come through as well. So Byron Bay is now more populated than it used to be, and I'm getting that you feel drawn to move to a location, but you're worried about there being too many people, or you're worried about like jumping on the bandwagon is what I'm hearing. It's like, oh, I don't want to be perceived as one of those people who's, I don't know, moving to this location. I'm also hearing Japan could be another thing. Like you're thinking of moving to Japan, but you're worried about the judgment or the criticism of like moving somewhere like that, somewhere really different to where you currently live. I don't know why those two locations, Byron Bay and Japan, are coming out, but anyway, it might be as well that you're being called to apply for jobs that are not in your location, and you've gotten quite comfortable in the location that you're in, and so I feel like some resistance towards that. But I'm hearing that there might be an offer that's almost like too good to be true that comes in, although it is true. And it's going to make you very, very happy. I'm hearing that like you're fearing a disruption, because I think like let's actually look at the card for the past position. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, yeah. So you've worked really hard to gain some level of security and stability. You finally feel like you have a stable place to be or a stable job. And even though you have this sort of like niggling fear that you're not going to be satisfied staying where you are, there's something about that comfort and that security that you haven't had before that is making the idea of change, particularly in terms of like a career change or a location change, really difficult for you to process. And so what Spirit is actually saying is, while you have this security and this stability, it's the perfect time to test the waters. It's the perfect time to apply for jobs you don't feel like you'll get, maybe that are out of state or in a different country even, because, well, it's almost like playing the game of seeing how you can lower your resistance in order to align with opportunities, if that makes sense. So I hope that's coming through clearly, but that's what I'm getting. Let's see what... Actually, I haven't talked about the conscious influences yet. So the conscious influences, we have the 10 of Cups. Okay, so the 10 of Cups is about... Oh, sorry, it's the 9 of Cups. That's okay. That's... I don't know what happened there. I just drew a blank. Yeah, so... Okay, I'm hearing that was a message in and of itself. So when somebody asks you, are you satisfied in life? Your tendency is to answer no. And then when people ask you, what is it about your life that you would change? You draw a blank. That's why I thought that this was the 10 of Cups, not the 9. Okay, so you're currently quite satisfied where you are, and you're conscious of the parts of your life that you are satisfied about, and it seems to be in terms of your stability. But you've got itchy feet is what I'm getting. I'm also getting I'm getting a heavy influence of the feet, actually. I was hearing like reflexology as well. Could be something to look into. I'm also hearing dip your toes in. So I'm seeing like the water coming up onto the shore, and it's like you might want to just dip your toes into something new. I'm hearing that it's not until you start to gather new experiences that you start to fill in the gaps of where this feeling of not dissatisfaction, but it's almost like it's not a complete full satisfaction like the 10 of cups would be. So you feel like there's something slightly missing, but it's not totally obvious what it is, because on paper, you're in a really good position right now. Sure, it might not be perfect, but maybe relative to your peers, relative to your family members that have come before you even, you feel like you're in a pretty good spot. There's something else is calling you. And I actually made a post about this on my Instagram a few days ago, and it was just something that I was picking up on about like what your calling is and how it comes to you. So a calling doesn't always yell from the rooftops. It doesn't always make a big song and dance about it until, it's unavoidable that you heed the call. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's about wrestling with an idea or a thought or a feeling for years, for months, for days, for moments, minutes, seconds, until it becomes even a whisper. Take those moments of silence and see if you can listen to those whispers that come through. But I'm hearing that you're being asked to put yourself in not dramatic, just slightly different situations. Here's an example. So what I'm getting is like, if you have a grocery store that you always go to, or a particular supermarket or whatever, go to a different one, go to the competitor. Or if you go to a certain shopping center in one location, go to a different location to do your shopping. Something as simple as that. There's going to be messages that come to you or opportunities that you run into by doing that. And that's how you figure out, this is why I feel a little bit dissatisfied, even though I can't pinpoint why or where that dissatisfaction is coming from. Like, you're feeling like, I should feel satisfied with my life, because this is what the Nine of Cups is about. It's like the wish fulfillment card. I've got everything I've wished for so far. Why don't I feel like I've got 100% what I want? When on paper, I probably do. That's what this is about. It's saying that you need to open yourself up to expansive new experiences, and they don't even have to be big for that expansion to occur. Okay, so for the forthcoming influences, we've got the Four of Wands. So something to celebrate around your domestic life is coming through. I feel like this is indicating a move to a new home, and it's a fresh start for you, and it might be for you and a partner. If you don't currently have a partner, the energy around romance is looking really good here. So if that's something that maybe that's the thing that you don't feel super satisfied with, maybe you're okay on your own, but it's not until you happen to meet someone that you realize, that's the thing that feels like it's missing that's the 10th cup, basically. So if you're in a current partnership, I see something around like a housewarming. I really am getting a change in locations, or even just a change in like, I heard tax bracket as well. Like you might be moving into a new tax bracket, like a financial leveling up or a promotion is coming. Something where you really feel like you can celebrate. You really feel like you can form solid roots, I'm hearing. And it's a place where you can actually bring people to you as well, is what I'm getting. Like, I really am seeing a really warm, lively housewarming party. It's like under a full moon, and there's like beautiful fairy lights, and I'm also getting like maybe it could be a wedding, but like a really if you're thinking of eloping as well, I'm picking up on. So if you and your partner are thinking of eloping, let this be your message that is being supported at this time. Okay, so it could be like a very private, intimate union that ultimately leads to something to celebrate. So that's really amazing energy coming through for the Four of Wands. Okay, your advice from Spirit. We have the Two of Wands. So it looks like he's digging up some garlic there, which is interesting. I'm hearing a message about being wary of energy vampires, especially if you're going to start making a transition that feels right for your growth and your development. There might be some people who really rely on your energy who don't want to see you move on. They might take this personally and lash out. Okay, so the advice here is, I'm getting like even the usage of garlic in your cooking is really recommended at this time as a source of protection from energy vampires. And one thing that I've noticed lately, even though we're in the dead of winter in Australia and it's freezing cold, and this is the first time in my life I've experienced mosquitoes being around while it's this cold, it's really, really weird to me, and it always indicates that there might be energy vampires around. Okay, so these are people who, without even realizing it themselves, they rely on your energy, on your light, they get something from you. And so there might be some people who do not want you to move away, do not want you to leave a workplace, do not want you to change careers, or do not want you to get married, or do not want you to settle down with a partner or move in with a partner or buy a house with your partner. For some reason, they think that they have a say in what you do. And Spirit is saying, with the Two of Wands here, be careful about how much information you give. So the Two of Wands is about like contemplating action, thinking about your next steps. It's not necessarily movement yet, but it's saying in these pre-planning stages, just keep quiet because you don't want people throwing you off this new journey that you're supposed to go on. Okay, so for the we've got the Six of Pentacles in reverse here, and that's coming out for external influences, or this position always also suggests like perceptions of others on you or the situation. And I feel like what this is saying is that around this change or this move that you're anticipating for yourself, there are some people, and I think it's relating to these energy vampires that I was bringing up before, they feel like you owe them something. And it's almost like this is like a classic energy of someone who just can't be happy for you. Like you might have gone through a really hard time in your life. It doesn't matter what you went through. This person went through worse, right? And therefore they invalidate everything that you've been through. When something finally goes well for you, either they'll try to one-up you on what's going well for them, or they will flat out refuse to be happy for you. So that's what I'm getting for the external influences or the perceptions of others. It's saying you don't have to give anything to these people, not even a crumb, right? If in fact I'm getting that, like I'm hearing sacred privacy. Your privacy's sacred and you're within your rights to hold that privacy and protect it, okay? If people come to you sort of like begging for something. Be really careful about how much you give that person as well. Like, put a limit on it. I'm not saying like don't give to charities or anything like that. Like, it's obviously great to give to charities, but there's a message here that it's almost like in your past you've been too giving at the detriment of yourself and your own prosperity. So others see you as someone who has a lot to give, and for some reason they feel like you are hoarding it and not giving them what they believe is rightfully theirs. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is, and it will probably resonate for somebody specifically. Yeah, I'll just show you the image as well, because like it is reversed in how it presented in the spread, but you can see that there's someone who sort of seems to be begging for a pentacle there. Okay. But either way you look at it, it's sort of the same, right? So I'm getting this doesn't even have to be like money, but with it being pentacles, it typically relates to finances or to material pursuits. I'm also hearing that as an external influence, where you currently sit, I feel like you aren't satisfied with the financial compensation that you're currently getting, but you're also scared about selling your soul for money is something I'm hearing as well. So you've been really trying to find that balance. Okay, here's what I'm getting. So the message is coming through. This lack mentality or scarcity mindset is something that you need to work on. So the external influence of money is coming through as like a negative force. So if you have a view of money that, oh, in order to get the money that I need or the money that I deserve, I have to work really hard and I don't want to do that, then that is a mindset that might need to shift, and it could be influencing the success of your endeavors moving forward. So just be mindful of that. For some reason, the financial compensation you're receiving doesn't feel like enough, yet in terms of the people around you, for some reason they have this idea that you have more money than you do, and it's causing some influence of jealousy, or like just some sort of like an energetic mismatch. And they might actually, these energy vampire types might actually take you moving on to new things as evidence that you can afford to do so. And they don't actually have insight into your finances. They're just making assumptions based off of their own feelings of lack and scarcity. So this could definitely be like an ancestral thing that you need to work through. This could relate to family members as well. They sort of feel like they've always struggled with money. Their financial situation has always limited their ability to do things. And so they think that the same rules should apply for you, but you have a different access to abundance, or abundance is afforded to you in a different way. It doesn't always look like money in the bank. I hope that's making sense. It could just be like you get given opportunities very readily, very easily. It could be that you are just super creative, and the way that you gather certain income streams is, I'm getting like adaptive or like creative. You've got like multiple things happening. And for some reason you've got some energy vampires around you who are misperceiving your abilities as privilege, or I don't know. I'm just getting that there are people who see you hoarding wealth or resources that they feel are owed to them. Okay, so hopes and fears, we've got the Six of Cups in reverse. I feel like you want to go back to simpler times. You want to start indulging in the things that made you happy when you were a child. I think that whoever I'm picking up on, I'm feeling that you're in a phase of your life where you're realizing that it's those moments you had in childhood, the joy and the bliss and the freedom. It's those that you're wanting to reconnect with. It's those that you're wanting to cultivate. And it seems to be in direct conflict with societal expectations of you in adulthood. So I'm feeling like for the fears, it's like you fear whimsy being robbed from you if you take this opportunity that's coming in. And I'm getting that that's not unfounded. You have good evidence to have that fear. But I'm also getting that if that's something that you value, if that's one of your core values, then it's not something that you're going to lose. It's going to be that sense of whimsy and joy, childlike innocence. That's something that matters to you deeply. And if you can find a way to tie that in with financial abundance rather than seeing those two things in conflict, then I think that can help you resolve that issue. And then you can sort of move forward feeling like, okay, like maybe I'm moving into a higher position. Maybe I'm getting a promotion. Maybe I've got more money. But that doesn't necessarily mean I have to be less fun or I have to be more serious or anything like that. I'm getting that the opportunities that are right for you will not cause you to abandon yourself in that way. I hope that's making sense. All right, so let's have a look at the outcome card. We have the Four of Swords. What I'm getting here is that if you're feeling a little bit bored lately, like it's tying back to the Nine of Cups. It's like, oh yeah, like technically I should be satisfied, and I am, but for some reason I'm a 9 out of 10 and I can't figure out what that 10th cup is about. It's saying here that there's like an incubation period on this. Oh, my third eye is itching. Oh, it's itching. Yeah, so stay and smell the roses, I'm hearing, like while you're here, while you're in this sort of like this period of downtime. It's completely part of the move. In fact, you've already moved. Like, that's the reality of this. Like, this period of stillness and rest is happening for a reason because you're about to massively shift your location, I'm getting. Even if it's not like a huge distance, it's just a really different energy you'll be moving into. I was hearing astrocartography then. If you're into that, you can check out like maybe what the best location is for you to move to if you're wanting to just do it that way. Otherwise, I feel like I was saying before, it's almost about while you're in this sort of period of stasis, I'm getting, where things are pretty stable, just apply for stuff and see where you end up. I know that sounds really scary, but here's the thing. You can always say no. If it doesn't align with you or you intuitively feel like it's not a right fit, then you don't have to go. But what I'm hearing is if it feels right to you, then the universe is going to, I heard part the Red Sea, just move mountains basically to make this happen for you. So if it feels like it's an insurmountable sort of move or position, if it's the right thing for you, it won't be. So enjoy the rest. Make sure you're really indulging in gratitude as well at the moment. I feel like that's going to be super, super helpful because that's another thing that's going to help you align with what is satisfying to you in your life and where you feel like you might be able to tweak things a little bit. Okay. For the last card, and then I'm going to wrap up the reading, I'll look at the bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck is the potential energy. It's not on the table yet. It's either there for you to invite into your life or to avoid, depending on how it resonates for you. And we have the sun in reverse. So the sun is positive, whether it's in reverse or upright. I actually am getting that this has something to do with how sunny the area or location, or you might be shifting from working indoors to outdoors or something like that. I'm getting something about brightness, light, and warmth. I also feel like this being in reverse means that you might not be able to see everything yet, but if you choose to look at this unfolding of events with curiosity and your opportunities with curiosity, then this is going to turn upright, and it's going to lead to so much growth and prosperity and so many opportunities for ultimate happiness. Well, that's what I'm getting. I hope that resonated for somebody. Thanks for sticking around if you have for this long, and I'll see you next time.